Hi, my name is Celeste Corpening. I will be facilitating this training module for the GCA Grant Payroll Cost Share e-form. The Payroll Cost Share form was developed to create an internal process using Banner data where cost share information can be entered by the peer reviewers, certified by principal investigators, and captured in the imaging system and processed by the GCA processors. This section of the training module is designed for the peer reviewers. It will educate them how to submit a payroll cost share e-form. So this is what the form looks like. The form is actually broken into three main sections. The grant details section is at the top of the form, and we'll go into a little bit of that later. If you see at the top by this question mark, if you click that hyperlink that says here, it would bring up the instructions for the pre-reviewer for you. To the right, there is a recall document button. We'll review that a little bit later in this training module. Next, you have the pre-reviewer ID. This will pull in based off of what you logged into. So whoever logs into the form is automatically pre-populated. It's not nothing that you have to do. This next section is the gut of the grant details section. You have the project number, which will be entered in by the pre-reviewer. And once they enter in that, the project title, the principal investigator, the project start date, project end date will be pre-populated from Banner data. And then they would have to enter in the reporting start date as well as the reporting end date. These are both calendar options, so you can, once you click on the field, it will pull up a calendar and you can select a date. If you prefer to type it in, you can. Of course, we prefer for you to use calendar option, but you can type it in. If you do type it in, it has to be entered in that MMDDYYYY format. This is what the grant details section looks like filled in. So the pre-reviewer entered in the project number. The Banner data was pulled in for the title, PI, project start and end dates, and the reporting and end dates was entered by the peer reviewer as well. It is important to note that if you do not enter a valid project number, the system will check that, and in this project title section, it will say invalid project number. The PI, the project start and end dates will not be filled in. You will not be able to submit the form at that point. The next section is the payroll details section. If you look on here, you see the fund text box is grayed out and the rest of them are white. So the grayed out indicates that it is pre-populated automatically from you. So based off of the project number that you submit, the fund number will be automatically inputted into this form. You do not have to enter that. If you look below, there is an add another line button. This enables you to submit more than one cost share amount at a time, and we'll look at that on the next slide. More regarding the payroll detail section. So as you can see here, the fund number is automatically populated for you. Next, you would have the employee ID, so you would enter the employee ID. Don't worry, if you don't know their 800 number or UNC Charlotte ID, you can enter it by their name. So say you don't know Celeste's 800 number. All you would have to do was type in her name, and the format is last name, comma, first name. So you would type in Corpening, comma, Celeste, and it will pull in that 800 number automatically for you. After that, the employee name is populated from the 800 number, so you don't have to enter that data. So say you see over here it says Corpening, comma, Susan. Oh, I didn't mean to select Susan, I meant to select Celeste. So just back out the 800 number and type in the name again and make sure you select the correct name. After that, you will have to enter the role, the salary, the cost share amount, as well as the cost share fund and account numbers. As an extra bonus for you, the description is listed under the fund number, the cost share fund number, and the cost share account numbers. So this is an additional verification to make sure that you're selecting the correct cost share fund and account number. Another check is just to look at the total, make sure it's what you're thinking that it should be. Make sure that it's accurate. And as far as the add another line, I wanted you to see how that feature worked. So when I clicked the add another line, I was able to enter the second line of data for Karen. So, and then I thought, oh, well, let me enter another line for Donna. And then I decided, hey, I don't need that line anymore. So all I do is go over here to this minus button and click that, and it will remove this line item for you. The last two sections of the form are the pre-reviewer comments and some notifications for you. The pre-reviewer comments, as you can see here, does not have a red asterisk, so it is not required. It is an optional field. However, if you know that there's additional information that would be beneficial for processing, we ask that you include it here. The next section is 2 warnings. The first one is saying, hey, I'm checking this box. Everything that I've put on here is accurate to the best of my ability. And the second one tells you if you have any questions or concerns to contact GCA. Their email is gca-payroll-cert@uncc.edu. Now the checkbox, if you do not check it, you are not going to be able to submit the form. It is required for you to do so to submit the form. Additionally, at the bottom of the form, there are 4 buttons. The first one is submit. So of course, by hitting submit button, you are submitting this process saying, yes, I'm done. Send it on to the PI for certification. The reset button starts a new form. So if you hit this button, all the information that you have sent is not going to be processed. You're just saying, hey, I want to start over fresh with a new form. The attachments, of course, is you can attach additional supporting documentation. It is not required for you to have an attachment to submit the form. However, we encourage you to do so if it's beneficial for processing. And the Save as Drafts feature, we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but this enables you to save the form so you can come back and submit it later. Or if you submit a form on a frequent basis with the same type information, you can save a draft and then modify those changes and resubmit it without having to enter that data over and over again. After submitting the e-form, you will receive an email indicating that you have pre-reviewed that cost share with the project number indicated in your email, and it looks similar to this. The recall feature. This is a wonderful feature that allows you to save a draft of your form submission for later or frequent use. You can do so by using the Save as Draft feature. Just a brief overview. So after completing the e-form, you click the Saved as Draft button. You'll receive a form submission confirmation window that will display on your screen. To retrieve that document, you click the Recall Document button. So after that, you locate your document, you click the Recall button, you modify the form as necessary, and then you hit Submit, and your document will be entered into processing. But I'll go into a little bit of detail. It is also important to note that we do have a FAQ available on the recall feature, so you can view that at any time from faq.uncc.edu. So there are 2 ways to recall a document. As you see here, there's 2 tabs, My Documents and Search Documents. My Documents, every cost share that you have saved as a draft is here. You would locate the cost share that you're looking to submit, click the recall button. It opens up that specific cost share, make any modifications that you need to, and click the submit button. After doing so, it is entered into processing. The second option, search documents, is probably used a little less frequently. So you have 2 options on here. You have the by initiator ID or by the document ID. So if you have the document ID, you would click that radio button, switch over and enter the document ID. The screenshot here is of the initiator ID. So you have 2 options. You can enter the 800 number or UNC Charlotte ID of the person, or you can enter their name. Again, the format is last name, comma, first name. And as you see here, I just put in COR and it lists everything that's viable, every person that's viable to that. I'm selecting Celeste Corpeting, and then when I do that, it brings up all the documents that are associated with that person. You click the recall button. It'll bring up the cost share request again. You make any modifications you need to. Click the submit button, and it is moving forward into processing. This next section of the training module is designed for the principal investigators. They're the ones that certify the payroll cost share form. After the cost share e-form has been submitted, the pre-reviewer receives a confirmation email, while the principal investigator receives an email indicating that they have a task to approve. This is the email similar to what they have received. There is a link in the email. They click on the link. It requires you to log in with your NinoNet credentials, and after that you will have a task that's brought up in Experience. There are two things important to note. You have 3 weeks to certify or not the cost share that has been sent to you. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3 weeks. After 5 days, you will start receiving a daily email reminder to certify or not certify this cost share request. This is what the task will look like. As a PI, it is your responsibility to review the online form located in the center of the document, review any attachments using the Next Page button, attach any supporting documentation using the Add icon, and if any changes were made to the form, it is imperative that you save so those changes are retained. After that, you will have the opportunity to certify or not certify the form. So I wanted to indicate the Next Page button is located in the lower left of the form. The Add and Save buttons are at the top. The Save looks like a disc and the Add looks like a plus icon. The main function, certifying the form. So you see here we have how not to certify and then how to certify. It may look a little odd to say how not to certify first, but if you do not add the comment prior to, you will not be able to add it. So that's why we talk about not certifying first. So if you're not certifying the cost share request, you would enter the comments explaining the reason why. So just in the comment section, you type, I'm not certifying this because of X, Y, and Z. You click the add button to add your comment on there, and then you will go over to where it says complete. Click on that button and you click the not certify option on here. Now if you're certifying the request, you can simply click the complete button and then you're going to click certify. And the way the system works, it will automatically bring up a second request. If you have more than one request in the system, you have the option to continue processing or to log out. To log off, you simply go to the top right hand corner, click on the person's silhouette. It will bring up 3 options for you. You click on the last one, which is the disconnect button. This portion of the training module is geared toward GCA workflow processors. As a GCA workflow processor, you will receive an email notifying you that there are items in the queue ready for you to process. You can monitor the queue on a regular basis, or when the email comes in, to go in and check that way, whatever the best practice is for your department. In order to process a cost share e-form, you need to log in to Perceptive Content using your NinoNet credentials. Once you receive the toolbar, click on Workflow. From Workflow, you're going to navigate to the red payroll cost share workflow queue. Expand that, and you are going to go to and select the red PCSF processing queue. Locate your document in the right pane. Double click on it to open it, and you have your document ready for review. Once you have located your document, opened it, perform your due diligence. which includes reviewing the e-form, looking at the document keys, custom properties, adding any attachments, reviewing any attachments. After you have finished, click the Route Forward button to archive. If you find that the PI requires access to the cost share workflow queue, you're able to grant that to them. This is how you do it. Go to the Imaging Add and Remove Access Request form. So where is that? I'm glad you asked. Go to workflowforms.uncc.edu. Then you're going to go to the menu at the top for imaging. You're going to select Imaging Forms. Then you're going to go to 1IT. After that, on the right side, you're going to click on Imaging Add/Remove Access Request. Once you click on the link, it will require you to log in with your NinerNet credentials. Once the form pulls up, you're going to click Add Imaging Access from the Action drop-down list at the top right of the form. After that, you will enter the PI's UNC Charlotte ID. If you do not know their 800 number, you can enter by name. Again, the format is last name, comma, first name. Then click the Tab button. After that, you'll be required to enter the reason for request. There is a copy access from on this request form. However, I would like for you to manually select your category and security group. So from category, select RED, Research Economic Development, and your security group, we need you to select the red PCF approver. After that, you will be required to initial and verify that you are in security and PCI compliance. At that point, you can attach any supporting documentation. We ask if you are the person preparing the form as well as the person who needs the access that you attach your supervisor's approval. At this point, you're ready to submit. So click the Submit Access Request button at the bottom of the form. At that point, you can either exit the form or click the Submit New button to start a new access request form. It is important to note, for you to be granted access, you must have signed the confidentiality form. And there is a FAQ on how to request access. In addition, there is a FAQ on the confidentiality form as well. So how do you reassign a task? So to reassign a cost share task, you need to first log into Perceptive Content using your NinerNet credentials. Locate all tasks from the task view on the left pane, and then you're going to search for the filter and select by grants PCF type -assigned. Locate the grant or project associated with the PI that needs to be reassigned. At that point, you click on it once, right click, and click Reassign. A Reassign Task dialog box will appear. At this point, you click the All Users button on the right hand side. Once you do that, another dialog box will come up. It says Select Users at the top. At this point, you will enter the PI's information. You can enter their last name, their first name, or their username. And you click the Search button. So if I put in John, you might get 1,000 Johns. I put in Smith, you might get 50 Smiths. So you do need to select the correct item when it comes in the search results section here. So you select the item of the particular PI that you want reassigned, and then you hit Add, and then it will populate down here by selected users. Click OK. The Reassign dialog box will appear again. It will have your person that you selected information up there. Verify that it's correct, and you click OK again. At this point, you have reassigned the task, and the new PI will receive a task email notification to them. To review a cost share task comment, log into Perceptive Content using your NitroNet credentials, go to the red PCSF Processing Workflow Cube, locate and open your document. Once your document is open up the task from the task viewer. Simply go to the top menu, click View, and then select Task. From there, you'll be able to view your comments. This next section explains how to view a GCA grant payroll cost share e-form, providing that you have the privileges to do so. To view a cost share document within Perceptive Content, log into Perceptive Content, the client, which is installed on your computer with your NitroNet credentials, or go to any browser and type in imaging.uncc.edu/experience and click on Documents. From either option, you would go to the left navigation pane, expand the red Documents view from within Documents, not Workflow, and you can use either of these three filters to look for documentation. So by PCF grant number, by PCF PI ID, or by PCF PI name. So you can search by the PI name or the name, the UNC Charlotte ID, or you can search by the grant number. So once documents populate over in the right on the grid, you would just select the item that you want by double clicking on it. Once you do that, it will open up and the document is available for viewing. Now, if you do not have access and would like to get access, you can go to our website, workflowforms.uncc.edu, click on the imaging drop-down box at the top, go to imaging forms, go to 1IT. The first option on there, the first link on there is imaging access and request form. So click on that link and you can go ahead and fill out the form. You would have to enter the category and the security group as RED, R-E-D, and external viewer. Now we do have an FAQ on this. If you go to faq.uncc.edu, there under 1IT and imaging, there'll be a FAQ on how to view documents and how to request imaging access. So you can search for either from those from the FAQ as well. There are several resources I would like for you to be aware of. We have 3 manuals out on our website, one for the pre-reviewer, one for the principal investigator, and one for those who do workflow processing. The forms are located at workflowforms.uncc.edu/imaging-forms-department/research-economic-department. So basically you go to our website, workflowforms.uncc.edu, you click on the imaging drop-down box at the top, you go to imaging forms, and then you look for the department on the left. The department is Research Economic Development. At the bottom of the form, you will see documentation, and under that documentation, you will see those 3 manuals listed out. In addition to that, your initial point of contact is GCA. Their email is gca-payroll-cert@uncc.edu. In addition, client services email from the Help Center is help@uncc.edu, and the content services, which is the imaging team, inbox is imagenowhelp@uncc.edu. Thank you. Again, I'm Celeste Corpening. Thank you for your time. I hope this training module has been beneficial to you.